So we're gonna hear his fifth speech. Sometimes it's just one thing.
Thank you. How many of you would like to solve some of your problems in your life? The rest is fine. Today I'm going to share with you an insight that I acquired by accident, by sheer accident, or coincidence you might call it, many years ago, which I could only start putting into my life as practice within these past few weeks. And it has been interesting, so I would like to share this journey with you. But for that, let's go back in time. Let's go way back in time. Actually, let's go back in time for 5 years, okay? This is me in my ridiculously stupid outfit on first grade. I'm 5 years old. 5 or 6, I don't remember. So this is pretty old. And this is the outfit again. And this is how my years as a primary school student started. Now you might think that those are problems because I was in these ill-fitted clothes with someone that I didn't know who was supposed to be my wife, and I had this cane, I had this fez, or whatever you call it in English. But I had bigger problems. See, don't let the picture fool you. I was small. And there were these big kids. Not that I was assaulted or something. But my problem was related to this. And the problem came in two folds. One, my daily allowance allowed me to buy one of these every day. But the problem was I had to choose between buying it in the morning or after lunch. I couldn't get a second one. So I either had to wait through the entire morning with the craving and enjoy it in the afternoon, or I would just indulge myself in the morning and spend the rest of the day hoping for the next day to come as quick as possible. But this was only part of the problem. The other part was, in my school, the canteen was this tiny little window, not like, bench or this tiny little window that everybody crammed into, like the government office in Turkey 25 years ago. And you had to, give the money, which is, you cannot drop it. I only had one. You had to give the money and hope that somebody will hear you and give the steal. And sometimes it would come like this, and unfortunately sometimes it would come so I had to wait another 24 hours. That was my problem. Among other things. Fast forward almost 3 decades. And today I realize life is giving us all sorts of problems. Big ones, small ones, medium ones. Think of some of your problems. In fact, I bet I can make your life very problematic in 2 seconds. If you go online, we are now able to see that in 2 seconds, we're able to see the next billionaire, the next fantastic achiever, the top performer, the best artist. There are always these things that we find ourselves having to compare with. And in this world of connectedness, they are always within our reach. So we are always within the reach of these unachievable benchmarks. But the thing is, when you think of life as a pyramid, or the human population as a pyramid, these people, I don't know, maybe they make up the top 0.00001%. But they are all in our lives, and we always are subjected to them. By the media, by the newspapers, by the TV, by the Facebook, by the social media, whatever. These are always in our exposure, and we cannot help. It's basic human instinct to look at something and compare ourselves. And when we compare ourselves with the 0.00 whatever percent, happiness is usually not possible. So we're faced with two options. We either deny that, or we turn ourselves into victim mentality and start blaming others for our unhappiness, for our failures, for our whatever. Victim mentality, short-term has benefits. We have someone to blame, so the responsibility goes out of us. It is bestowed upon other people, but eventually it comes back and bites you in the ass. If I choose the denial part, yes, for the next 30 minutes I'm fine, for the next 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever, I'm fine in the short term. But in the long term, on the back of my mind, the problem always comes back and then causes unhappiness. So, today I'm going to offer you a third alternative, which I'm sure you have heard by now, but I've only been able to put it into practice very recently, so I would like to share that with you. The third option is actually trying to see these problems not as problems, but messages, maybe from life, I don't know. Trying to see these problems as things that can propel us into a better life that we can dream of. But it comes with a high price tag, and that price tag is 100% responsibility for every single thing that happens to me in my life. 100%. Now you might think, wait, I cannot control everything that happens to me, and you will be right, you will be completely right. You cannot control every single thing that happens to you. But each and every one of you, including myself, we have 100% power on how we're going to respond to that and what our response is going to be. This idea struck me as phenomenal. That's why I wanted to share with you. Because, yes, I cannot control everything that happens to me. Some call it fate, some call it destiny, some call it luck, some call it something. Everybody has an explanation for everything that happens to us, every shit that happens to us. But every single one of us have the freedom to choose how we are going to respond and to choose what our response is going to be. Now, I would like to share this moment with you as to how I came to realize this. Actually, the seeds of this realization was 10 years ago, and it took me 10 years to figure out what the realization was. I'll give you an example. 10 years ago, before I started this business of presentation training, I was a salesperson. I wasn't a manager. I was all the salesperson. And my job was to leave the office every single morning, get into my car, and go to the industrial zones of this beautiful city. Gebze, Hadımköy, Kocaeli, Silivri, you name it, I was probably there. If you work in one of those companies with big factories, I probably visited your place. My job was to sell industrial-grade printing systems and labels. So I had to go explain the product, count the benefits, and then try to make the sale, which I failed pretty much most of the time. And since my job was always on the road, my lunch was usually from gas stations when I filled up my car, the company car, or when I found like half an hour. And it usually consisted of Dardanelles tuna sandwich, the orange juice, and maybe a pack of gum. And without exception, at the time, it was 9 liras and 90 cents. So I would give the guy 10, he would give me 10 kurush. I would give the guy 10, Monday, the guy would give me 10. Tuesday, 10, Wednesday, 10, Thursday, 10. One day, I give the 10 in a different gas station. He said, I don't have 10. Here, take one. I said, how much is this? He said, it's 10 kurush. I carried this burden, this scarcity mindset in my life for 30 freaking years, 30 plus freaking years. This thing was one of the most valuable things in my life. So I got one. I went to the car, I ate it. Then I went back. I gave the guy 2 liras. I got 20 of these. I started eating all of them. You know what happens if you eat 20 of these? You don't want to. And in the middle of that Opet gas station, I started crying in my car. You know, I'm eating it, you know, one and I'm crying. It was such a cry that I couldn't stop myself. I wonder what the people around me thought. You know, you're looking at the car, there's this mess, like 20 of these, crumbled and unpacked and everything. There's this guy with a suit and a tie in the middle of the summer, and he's crying. His lungs out. It took me more than 30 years to realize that sometimes the problems in our lives have got to do with only just one thing. It took me 30 years. So, it is not my intention to persuade you tonight. It is actually my intention to beg you. If you are facing any problems in your life right now, and if you're thinking that, gee, I had this problem for a while, take a deep breath and think. Try to find out. Could there be a reason for that? Scrap the victim mentality, scrap the denial. Try to focus on it and think. Could there be a reason for this? I don't know, from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And then, maybe then, you know what will happen? When you find the answer, maybe life will grant you with all your problems in abundance. I will clean this mess.
So, no, don't worry.
Release them all. Can we eat?